Good afternoon. It is an honor and a privilege to be standing on this stage. As an American, a gun owner, and as a lifetime member of the National Rifle Association. Like many of you, I grew up hunting and shooting with my father, and my dad bought me my first rifle for my 10th birthday and had Katie P embroidered on the sling. Lots of good times with that gun. When I turned 21, I became the owner of my first handgun and took my first concealed carry class. And since then, my firearms collection for personal protection and target shooting has grown, and my training has expanded significantly. And as my father always says, there are two very important rules to gun ownership. The first, you can never have too many guns. And the second is to refer back to rule number one. You know, personally, I know a lot of women just like me. Women who are interested in taking control of their own safety. Women who embrace their God-given ability to defend themselves and their bodies. Some of my favorite moments have come after taking a curious woman to the range to shoot for the first time and hearing her say, "Wow, I feel so empowered," as we walk out the door to go home. As a writer and reporter over the years, I've had the privilege of getting to know a number of men and women in the gun industry and the shooting sports. I've seen their efforts to promote responsible ownership of firearms and real gun safety. And no, Katie Couric, we will not allow you to hijack that term, nor will we allow you or your ivory tower zealots to take credit for all of the work that we, the NRA, and its millions of members have done to reduce crime over the years. And speaking of Katie Couric, you know, she's out with a new documentary about gun control. But where's her big expose on President Obama's actions to commute the sentences of violent felons who broke federal gun laws to carry out their crimes? Where's her big expose on the Justice Department's failure to prosecute and imprison criminals who use guns illegally, putting them back on our streets and into our communities? But I digress. Women are the fastest growing demographic of gun owners in this country. And we have incredible role models like Julie Golub, Natalie Foster, Kimberly Corbin, Jessie Duff, and many others leading the way as an example. Mothers around the country are taking control of their family's protection. And on college campuses, female activists like Antonia Okafor are fighting for concealed carry rights in their so-called gun-free campuses. And speaking of campus carry, what's up with Georgia Governor Nathan Deal, a Republican, vetoing recent campus carry legislation? I hope that if we have friends in Georgia, they would remember that on Election Day. The number one reason why women choose to purchase their first handgun is for self-defense purposes, to make themselves and their families safer, which is why I've been amazed to see recent pushes from women's magazines like Cosmopolitan, Glamour, and others making absurdly inaccurate statements about why women shouldn't own guns. In 2014, Cosmo editor Eliza Benson said, quote, "I get that the college sexual assault problem can't be solved in 30 secs, but it's still icky to pretend like self-defense is the answer," end quote. Oh, self-defense is icky now for women? I find it empowering. And she said this after watching Miss Nevada, who went on to win Miss USA, promote self-defense for women. Most recently, The magazine produced a video featuring women berating and questioning their gun-owning boyfriends. One woman in the video calls firearms death machines, and another woman is seen telling her boyfriend, from a non-American perspective, Americans are used to like freedom of speech, freedom, implying that her boyfriend takes her Second Amendment rights too seriously. Michael Bloomberg's Everytown is out with a new website, urging women not to date what they call gunsplainers. So what's a gunsplainer, you might be wondering? Well, according to Bloomberg's self-proclaimed experts, like comedian Amy Schumer and actress Julianne Moore, a gunsplainer is a man who repeatedly explains to a woman why she'd be safer if she owned a gun. Well, yeah, I think there's probably some gunsplainers in this crowd today. And let me tell you what, I'll take a gunsplainer over Pajama Boy any time of the day. And considering that I know women are safer when they own a firearm and know how to use it, I must be a gunsplainer too. And I have to say, I am extremely proud of the men in my family who own guns, and I am eternally grateful to my dad for teaching me how to use mine. But I have news for Cosmo, Bloomberg, and their Hollywood friends. We aren't buying it. Women aren't buying it. We're smarter than that. How dare they portray women as helpless, uninformed whiners? And how dare they imply that the men we care about will do us harm simply because they own a firearm? And how dare they talk down to us and tell us what we don't need to protect ourselves while attempting to take away the guns that make us completely independent? And finally, what nerve they have to scream about rape culture while denying women their single greatest equalizer. So despite endless lies, bogus narratives, and money Michael Bloomberg spends in an attempt to destroy the Second Amendment, the good news is we are winning, and women are playing a large role in our success. Overall, there will be 14 million concealed carry permit holders in America this year. That is something we should be celebrating. In Chicago, for the first time in decades, law-abiding citizens are protecting themselves from violent criminals running their neighborhoods. In Washington, D.C., anti-gun zealots have their backs against the wall as federal judges keep striking down their unconstitutional and difficult concealed carry laws. We're winning, but we can never stop fighting, and we won't. I'll continue to do my part to combat false narratives promoted through an ignorant, anti-Second Amendment media, and I know you'll continue to do your part to defend the Second Amendment in your local communities and in the voting booth. Thank you, and Molan Lave.